So I'm Kamar, and this is my video out. I was going through it in my mind earlier, but I still like piecing everything together is always fun. I was around a sophomore in high school, let's say, and um, I was talking to this guy, but I had just moved back to West Virginia because I was born in Jersey, but lived out there for a couple of years. So I was just getting to know everybody back in the town, basically, and then moving back in with my mom, which was fun. Um, and we were talking, and I remember there was one random night my phone rang like 10 o'clock at night. My mom's like, "Who's calling you this late?" I don't even know what happened. She ended up taking my phone because why was I getting calls at 10 o'clock at night when I was a sophomore? So it made sense. And that was actually my friend, but it just so happened that when she looked into my phone, she saw that there was a text from the guy that I was talking to that said, "You look really cute." So when I woke up in the morning, I was on my way to go get breakfast and everything. And she's like, who's Matthew or whoever it is that you were texting? Like, who's this guy? I was like, "Oh, he's a friend." She was like, "Oh, well, he says that you're cute. So are you gay or are you bi? Like, are you a fag? What's exactly going on here?" And I was just waking up. So I just said, "I'm hungry." And I went downstairs to go get some Fruit Loops. So after I got my Fruit Loops and I went upstairs, my mom did a little bit more digging. So she found the picture of the guy and whatnot. And then she goes on my Twitter and saw how I was talking about being gay and things like that. So then she kind of made me out myself to my grandparents just because she's like, "Well, if you're going to be proud about saying it online, you might as well be proud enough to say it to your family." So that was kind of hard, but everybody took it mostly lovingly. Like my grandma on both sides, they ended up just saying that they love me for who I am. So that was the best that I could get from that, or more than what I was expecting. So that kind of brightened things up. And then the same thing for my dad. He was just more upset that I didn't say anything to anybody, but I just didn't feel like I was in like the place where I could be too open about that, figuring it out myself still. So that was the beginning. And then after that, once I already had it settled in the house and I was still just getting more comfortable where I was, my junior year I came out to my friends. So it was like the first day of school and talking about what went on over the summer and all the people that we were hanging out with. And I had mostly girlfriends, so it was mostly talking about guys and stuff. And they were going around the table. And when it came to me, I was like, "I'm talking to this guy, but I don't know if I really want to put his business out there because he's not too open." And then that was their "you're gay" moment. So that was my subtle coming out, just kind of comfortable with it and letting everybody take it how they want it. And from there on, it was just kind of living comfortably. I'd say it was a surprise. Like, I remember looking back at it, just thinking about how naive I was. Like, I actually had the realization, like, oh, guys can be with girls, so guys can be with guys too. But my first relationship, really, I moved out to West Virginia, and I was just getting settled, still getting friends, figuring out everybody. And then I'd say like a month or two, sorry, a month or two into school, this girl named Natalie, we were getting to be closer friends, and she's like, "Do you want to be my boyfriend?" And I was like, "I don't know, I'm only like 7. I don't, well, no, 7th grade. So I was around like 12, 11. I'm like, "I don't know if I can have a girlfriend. Like, is that, I can do that? Sure. Okay, let's do it." And then, so when I started getting closer with girls, getting girlfriends, and then the last girlfriend that I had was bisexual, so she kind of started tinkering the knots in there and made me think about myself. But I always knew that I was a little bit different. I always knew I was a little bit more fabulous than the rest of the family. I never really went through that. I never went through the hazing phase. I grew up in West Virginia, so it was kind of like small town, but then again, it was mostly diverse because a lot of people's families around there like went out to Maryland and DC, so there was kids and families of all kinds. It's kind of like The Hills Have Eyes, but a little bit more civil. I never really thought about it too much, but around that time of discovering myself, my parents actually, they did like weird little things. Like I remember there was this episode of American Dad that they were watching, and I was upstairs in my room just minding my business, and they called me downstairs, and they're like, "Hey, look to see if you have any dirt under your nails." So I'm like, "Okay." And then they're like, "Oh, you're gay." I was like, "What?" They were like, "Yeah, if you check it like this, then you're straight, but if you check it like that, then you're gay." So it's like, "Oh, can I go upstairs now?" Like, I see you learned your lesson for the day, so thanks for that, I guess. Yeah, that's kind of the way that they joke. I feel like they were waiting for me to say something more too, so that was their way of getting me comfortable with it, but I still wasn't too comfortable with it myself to share it with them. So, growing up and talking about my mom now, well, talking to my mom now about back in the day, she understands more that it was just I didn't know what was going on to let her in on what was going on. Yeah, for the most part, you still get like my grandma always says, "I love you," but I'm just gonna pray that the gay leaves you. Like, just hope that you love your gay grandson. So it's especially in like my community with a lot of black people, it's seen as like a sickness or something that you want to hide. Like I called my friend before I came here, and I was asking him like, "Do you want to come out and share your story?" And he's like, "It." I feel like that'd be like going to an AA meeting. I'm like, okay, I feel like it's the opposite, but you have your views, so I don't know. It's all about like manhood and being strong. Like I remember walking around the house as a kid with my hand on my back, and my mom's like, "You look like a pregnant woman. Like, what are you doing?" Like, it's just all about still maintaining that image of being strong and femininity or associating yourself with something out of the norm. I guess kind of doesn't mesh with that for some people. Um, yeah. Um, it's weird to say that I feel like we're living it, as crazy as it sounds in today's 2019. But seeing like Drag Race and how far that's gotten and how people are more accepting of sharing the love in that kind of moment and how people are afraid to go out and dress as androgynous as they want. People can trailblaze. I was just watching, it's great enough that we have Gia Gunn, the first transgender person on RuPaul's Drag Race, but Carmen Carrera was talking about like breaking down those walls and getting into Victoria's Secret fashion shows. Like we're just we're kind of like breaking down those systems now, so it's fun to see it and fun to see where we can push that to. Maybe a drag queen president. It's tricky, but I'd say gender as a whole, just gender as a social construct, has to be broken down. Like we need to see more boys in pink. We need to see more girls in pants. Like we need to see women in charge. We need to see. You don't have to go out and try and fight hate every day. That's the future that I'd look forward to. I'd say where we can go out and not have to be scared about walking the streets at night because of the fact that people don't exactly see trans women as human still, even with as much that they've done for the community and as great as they're shining a light on just loving yourself and being what you know in your heart to be the best description of love. I think that's just what we need to focus on. Love. I guess it would be more of a question. It's I always wanted to know if people can really identify that they're the root of where their hate kind of comes from. Or like the things that they can't love about themselves yet, that's what they want to attack in everybody else because it's kind of like a fear. Like they don't understand how somebody can be so comfortable with something that they don't understand or that they can't accept for themselves. So I guess it'd be how do you treat yourself? Like that'd be the question for the haters. I would say to young Kamar, be fierce, be fabulous, and just fuck the rest. Yeah. My favorite part about being me is that I can try and chameleon my way. I can be as comfortable as my setting allows, but I can still be comfortable enough to be as inquisitive as I want to be, or be as pink as I want to be. And that really makes me happy because I love to see that there's the future that can look towards that and be comfortable. Like the youth can see me with my big curls out and with my nice pink sweater and just know that they can do whatever they want to do. They can spread love however they want to spread it. And they can be whoever they want to be. First off, just don't be afraid. Just do whatever you're thinking. If it's on your mind, do it. Don't be scared to box yourself. Take every step out there that you can. Move in whatever direction that you want. Jay-Z says, um, the wind comes and I'm just a flute. I know that's like a line from way before Jay-Z was thought of, but just be the flute. Be of service. Spread the love. Do the thing, please, for you.